So the argument would be in the short-term time frames that if we do have a move up like this weird, I mean, what is that? If we have another one of those, but this time it holds at around 41,700 or so, then we could easily move up because, excuse me, we got the itchy cloud continuation signal. All of that is in play. So as far as that is concerned, this is a trend in play. It's not over yet. It would only be over if this touches your price action or whatever. So I'll hold a fair bit of weight onto that. So that, you know, that is, I suppose, a good way to look at how price action could form. So in summary, everything I think is going to probably continue up as the dollar looks the way it does, and then yeah, I reckon we might get some decent moves in the first portion of this month, to be honest with you. So this box, I suppose, is the line in the sand, really. But again, looking at everything on a weekly makes it look pretty awful, and so we'll just move back to a daily, and we'll quickly move to so we're above the centre of the Bollinger Band. That's fine, okay, no big deal. Getting supported on the 21. A huge momentum driving there on the MACD, which is nice to see. We'll get rid of this. We don't need this anymore. So yeah, that's turning up quite nicely, actually. Doesn't mean it can't, you know, fade out completely, but yeah, every tick on the histogram there is quite strong. So actually, that looks quite good, and this looks like an RSI breakout to the max. So that is all quite nice, actually. So that's pretty interesting. Let's go to a 4-hourly. Do we have any signals on that? I imagine it's going to look exactly the same as the others. I want to know if it's in front or behind. It is. Actually, it's a good signal. Again, this one actually, I'm glad we're looking at XRP now, and so what we've got here is a continuation of a trend signal. So this is different to some of the others. So I know we talk about the itchy cloud all the time, and you're probably sick of it. But what we have is a cross above the cloud, and price obviously above the cloud, and a cheeky span above the price. So all we need to see this do is carry on doing what it's doing, and so long as this cheeky span doesn't touch the price action, or we get this blue which is up here across this red, so it actually looks okay, you know. But this is a good setup, a good signal actually, and it should be a continuation. But remember, it's only really relevant for those who bought on the signal, which was, like I say, 61 to maybe, if you bought at the top, 62.5 cents. So you'd be up a decent portion now, and the exit point will be given to you. The itchy cloud will tell you to get out. But for the moment, it's still a trend in play. 200 exponential needs to be reclaimed. We've got an ascending triangle, forming here. So we're getting support on the 10 exponential. Again, it's a setup. It's okay. It should be valid. It's the same kind of vibe with VRA here, so we've reclaimed these zones. It did okay for itself. Let's check the 4-hourly. Any signals? And the 4-hourly has a continuation of a trend signal formed just a couple of days ago. How long was this? 1.5 days ago. So this could be a trend continuing on a 4-hourly only. And so if we break above the 200 exponential, which is only a tiny portion of where above we are right now, so just less, about 5% from today. 25% to this horizontal is where I'd expect it. If we go to the daily, center of the Bollinger Band, 10 exponential, they're all merging in that same area, and maybe you would be lucky and you could move all the way up to the top side of the range. So we're talking about 40% move. I see potential on it there, definitely. Don't go crazy trying to margin trade this thing, do you know what I mean? Don't do it, but I mean, if you really wanted to, you could try. I see it working out like that, but I don't see it breaking out and continuing up for the rest of its life. I mean, the daily chart won't allow it. I think there will be some light relief across the board, but this chart doesn't look good on a daily. There is some momentum shifting, definitely, and again, this could be a slow burn, but if we think about what we're actually seeing here, there's really nothing particularly interesting about it. Actually, interestingly enough, we've it'd take one hell of a dump to cancel this out. We've more or less got one of those signals, the itchy cloud signals, confirmed here. So the GQ span's just creeping out the price action at our cross above the cloud, actually. So that is interesting. So we've got a cross above the cloud, GQ span above price. So it doesn't need to be. This could be two signals in one. So looking at the 4-hourly, it actually does look quite good. So disregard what I said about the daily. I mean, the daily is still significantly down. The 4 hourly is showing two, you could argue is one of the two, both of them are bullish signals on the itchy cloud, which first of all will at least suggest upside. So with that in mind, maybe a buy the dip on the next dip would be an okay scalpy kind of trade for ADA. So what we've gathered from this is that some alts are in front of the others with decent signals, some continuation of trends on 4 hourlies, which doesn't mean that they will have V-shaped recoveries and go all the way back up to their all-time highs. It just means that they will have a trend relevant to a 4 hourly, which is, you know, you'll have to work out yourself where you think the obvious place to end that trend is. Obviously you've got the itchy cloud signals that will tell you to get out if you want to hold it on for a longer period, but then we've also got to think about what's Bitcoin doing. I think Bitcoin's going to reach higher next week than where it is right now, but I don't think it's going to be as crazy as what we saw at the end of last week. And it could lead for these signals that we've seen on all these altcoins to actually play out, and so we might get some, you know, decent relief rallies, 10%, you know, from even things like XRP. But so yeah, the signals are generating, and so in some cases have generated, in some they've played out, in some they're not even yet confirmed, but they're all more or less in the same bag. So if I was to put, you know, if someone had a bullet to my head, a gun to my head, and say, what do you think is going to happen next week, I think that the market will have a decent bounce. Altcoins probably bouncing way more than Bitcoin, so maybe next week will be the, you know, you will get some good day trades out of some of these altcoins, but we should not get greedy and we should take profit on the trades that we've entered. But yeah, we'll see where it goes. Like I say, some of these signals are already confirmed, which just means that their moves are pending, but we need a stable or positive market for them to be able to do that generally. And some of them haven't even got those signals at all, but the majority of them have, and it is only 4 hourlies that we're looking at here, so you do honestly have to be careful and reasonable with your take profits, and look to the bigger picture, which is obviously things outside of this chart which do threaten volatile moves down, and from there we can pick things up for a bit more of a longer term trade, even blindly buying dips on altcoins that are significantly wrecked. And that doesn't have to happen, but the chances are we will have some shock in the markets and altcoins will get significantly wrecked throughout that process, and you can buy those dips blindly, relatively confident that, obviously it's not the case for all altcoins, but relatively confident that you'll have bought a significant low, and it will take time for them to recover, but it shouldn't take an enormous amount of time generally for those altcoins to recover from such a significant pullback. And again, this is all in March, so feel free to scalp. Be careful and look to the bigger picture, which is you want to have some decent funds available for March, in my opinion. Right, I'll leave it with you there. 2 minutes to spare. Go and get yourself an early night, and I'll speak to you all on Wednesday.